Hello and welcome to the Talk with Tariro. And indeed, we are in 2026 and we are saying let's pivot from January going forward and see where we are going. And to help us start the year with a bang, as we moved away from our festive season episodes where we're just celebrating life, we've invited an entrepreneur of note. I'm talking about somebody that I've learned a lot from. He's my young brother, but I've really learned a lot from him. And I'm sure for those who actually follow him on social media, you've also learned a lot. And we continue learning. And he's one right person for us to actually start this new year hearing from. And for the rest of January, we're actually looking at just having people of influence coming to inspire us as we roll on to 2026. I'm talking about George Mnengwa. He calls himself George the Billionaire. Welcome to the Talk with Tariro.
Thank you so much.
We must say welcome back.
Yes.
How was the festive season?
It was amazing. We had some good family time.
Good family time.
As always, festive time is that time to get to spend with your loved ones.
Yes.
And this holiday, we didn't travel. We decided to visit some local resorts in the country. And we had
making Zimbabwe great.
Yes, and it's amazing. I'm from Manicaland, and some amazing things happening in Manicaland. It's amazing to see the many resorts that have come up, and we had a good time and catching up with the family.
That's one thing that I'm so proud of you, the way you're so proud of your country and the many things that endure our own beautiful country. And calling yourself George Billionaire, unpack that for us.
Wow, so George Billionaire
are pivoting into the new year.
Yeah, George Billionaire is what we call the SFP.
Yeah.
It's called the self-fulfilling prophecy, which if you search online and look under the Pygmalion effect, it talks about the power of words spoken, about affirmations, about whatever you talk about, you comes about. So I began calling myself this many years ago when I was reading some books about millionaires. Then I met billionaires. Then I was like, how did these guys, some African gurus in business, become this? And it was a transition of about 20 to 30 years, which caused them to actually become internationally recognized as billionaires. So that grew some liking with me. And I said, you know what? Let me practice this affirmation and begin to now call myself George Billionaire. And ever since then, when I began, many laughed, many ridiculed, even up until today. But, the word of God says, according to your faith, it shall be done unto you. So there are many who used to ridicule me back then, the earlier stages when we started Pro Air. But I can tell you that George back then is a totally different George. And remember, it's not a 1 year process. It's where you want to ultimately go. So I understand it's a process, but I can tell you, surely in years to come, you certainly will see that I will be far closer to that than I originally started.
I've been following your entrepreneurial journey, George, and you are running one of the successful businesses in Zimbabwe. Walk us through how it has been just starting that business, the many pitfalls, the challenges, and how you rose to be where you are now.
So I started business in 2012. I resigned from my former employment on the 30th of April, 2012. And at that time, I was earning $300. I just had, my twins had just turned 2. Rentals, bills, things were not adding up. And for me, I saw an opportunity to say, wait, if I keep doing this at 300 and my wife was also nearly similar salary, our rental was $450, the Pampers, the milk, we were left with barely nothing at the end. So because of some of the business networking, things I would attend, you'd always hear stories about how Tariro began her business, how Nigel began, how Dr. Strive began, how Philip Mataranyika, how all these people locally in Zimbabwe, our dear brother Shingim Tasa, all these people started somewhere because they got uncomfortable where they were and they wanted something bigger. So for me, I think the number one cause that made me step out was just a hunger for more. because I wasn't comfortable with where I was. And there's a certain lifestyle I wanted, and I would never realize that lifestyle earning $300.
Yeah.
So, I worked 6 years of my life in various sectors, but I saw a niche, especially in the industry that I'm in now with air conditioning. I worked for a former air conditioning company.
Okay.
And an amazing boss I had who really mentored and groomed me. But I got to a place where I needed now to grow. And I said, I want to go and start this thing.
Yeah.
And, at the beginning, many ridiculed, laughed. And for me, I never went to university. The last education I had was my A level at the time.
Yeah.
And I was just an individual who had worked in an internet cafe, a clothing shop. I graduated. The university I went to, which I tell people I graduated at, is the University of Zimexmo. And that is where I graduated with my faculty of hustle. So at Zimex is where, you are taught how to sell, how you need to use your ecosystem. But when I began this business, all that self-taught things on the street helped me to now begin to establish the entity that I have now, which is called Pro Air. Yeah.
So starting off, often people say, I don't have money. I don't have this. How did you start?
So when I started, I think that is one of the most asked questions.
Yes.
And one thing that I had was a good name. Now, I tell you, there are many people who ask for capital to start. And there are many, I think, here in the country of Zimbabwe and even abroad, people who get loans who have never done business. The repayment of that loan is next to none because they've never experienced what business is and they just got capital. But one thing I had was a good name. So I used to go to people who used to bring in air cons at the time and say, listen, I've got a job I want to do for Tari. And if you give me today, we'll finish installing in 2-3 days and then we'll pay you soon after. So the thing I had was a good name and people would entrust me with that. So I started where I was. And, ultimately, it then grew and grew until we were able to capacitate ourselves. So for people who say, George, I need capital, I always tell people, you'll see people, Tari, with the latest phones. They're driving a fairly decent car. And that's potentially capital that you can use. But then people choose what's easy now instead of choosing what's hard now so that your life can be easier later. So I tell people that it's unfortunate people come up with all very elaborate, well-spoken excuses. They will blame a political party. They will blame the president himself. They will blame the weather. They will blame that they never went to university. They will have all good reasons why they are not starting. But in years to come, if you look back at some of the friends who used to ridicule me, who are still on their job, earning that amount of money I used to get, and now where I'm at, it was just a choice that I decided to make. And, in life, there's a quote that says, if you do what others don't do, you will have what others don't have.
Indeed, what is saying, don't do what others are doing. And one thing that I liked from what he spoke about is start where you are. We use capital as an excuse. And George is saying, whatever you have, even if it's $1, or if it's a spoon, you can start with that spoon. Join us after this break as we continue with George. Welcome back. We continue with our discussion as we are pivoting into 2026 from now until the end of the year. We know a lot of us have got those New Year's resolutions, but by March, most of them would have thrown away those pieces of paper. George, as we begin the new year, New Year's resolutions, when it comes to business, we often have those, but none or maybe one are fulfilled. What do we need to do as professionals, as aspiring business people, even as someone who's just so confused in life, we are starting the year.
You know, one of the words that people don't like, in fact, two of them, there's a word called discipline and one called consistency. These two words are very closely related because in order for you to be consistent, you need to be disciplined. And when you set out a target at the beginning of the year, I follow you a lot. I see you are very dedicated on your workout routine, and that causes you to get specific results in a set time. But to people who are out there who set these goals, it's always nice to hear, I've got 10 goals, but the lack of discipline and consistency will cause you to go back to your old habits. Now, I love this 48-hour rule, which I've told people about so many times. Whatever you fail to do within 48 hours of hearing, the human mind goes back to factory settings and goes back to doing what it already knew. Now, whenever you want to achieve something great in life, you must say, this year, I want to read 10 books. And if that means you read 20 minutes a day, you set aside that time. If you say you want to have a six-pack within 4 months, it means there are certain things you want to do. If you say you want to start a business, you must deliberately do things, like I said earlier, which are hard now, which will cause your life to be easy. So it's a nice thing. I've got goals, I've got New Year's resolutions, but ultimately without execution of what you write on a piece of paper, this is what has caused many people to be demoralized. And this is why sometimes when you go to a gym, you've got a gym coach, you've got an instructor, you've got a mentor who you are accountable to, who you say, listen, I want to do this. So they'll monitor what you eat, what time you come in. Are you on track with your business goals? Are you doing this? And I think for lack of a better cause, lack of having an accountability partner, a mentor, somebody who you tell what to do, is why people will find it very easy to get rid of their New Year's resolutions. So, what we do at home with my family at the beginning of the year, New Year's Eve, we sit down after dinner, we begin to write things we want to do. And everybody around the table, we actually did that as we crossed over into the year. Now I know my son wants to excel in basketball. My daughter wants to play provincial hockey. My son also wants to represent the country in swimming. So all of us know what as a household we want to achieve. And it's written, you pass your paper down to the next. And now you're accountable to say, but you said you want to get a six-pack and you want to go to the gym. Are you doing that? When you make those type of decisions and you have somebody asking you, it will push you back to where you're supposed to go. So New Year's resolutions are great. But unfortunately, kazhinji kacho vanhu havazoramba vachiita zvavanofanira kuti vaite kuti zvizozadzikiswa. So I would say to people, they're great, but these two words, if you really want at the end of 365 days, as we get into 2027, to have achieved and to see tangible difference, every day you must be consistent. You must be disciplined. Even though others say, hi, Tari, let's go and spend that money. You know, I have a project which I need to fulfill. Therefore, I cannot be part of that. And it's discipline and consistency. And little by little, you'll see your life beginning to change. It may be hard, because New Year's resolutions are hard to achieve. But once you get to the top of the mountain and you look how far you've come, that's those two words, discipline and consistency, which have pulled you up to the top of the mountain.
One issue that you spoke about is somebody has to be uncomfortable of where they are for them to then think, this will propel me higher. This will make me move from A to Z. How do people do that? Because that discipline that you spoke about often is lacking and we become too comfortable. Anything that's challenging, it's a no for me. But then you are saying, I don't want to live this life. But you become comfortable there.
True. So, Tari, I'll tell you this. There's a quote that says, you don't know how poor you are until you go to a rich man's house. When you go back home, you look at your couch, your bed, where you came from, you got exposed. And if you remain comfortable when you go back home, something must have provoked you to say, wait, that person lives just like me. They breathe in the same oxygen. I can also have that type of life. And it begins with that, being exposed to a different environment.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago, I went into my friend's car and they had the top of the range car. You'd sit in there, you put the seat belt, the car would massage you. There are cameras, it can drive itself.
Yeah.
When I went back to my car, I was not okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought my car was nice. But then that's the challenge with most people. You get too comfortable because hausatwaona zvimwe.
Yeah.
So exposure forces your mind to say, wait, if they can do this and we're the same.
Yeah.
This is where I then sat down with all these great successful people and I asked, how did you do this?
Yeah.
And they started in the high density suburb like myself. They sacrificed what they had to start the business.
Yeah.
They hung around with the right connections. They read books. They did what others didn't do, which led them to now being called successful and great. So to people, nyaye kuwa comfortable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, wakaramba uchitambira kumarine in the same neighborhood, you'll only think imba yepakona ndo yakanaka. And you'll get comfortable thinking that we have, the best house in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But when you go somewhere else, I always say this to people, if you want to know and learn, you must go and hang out with eagles.
Yeah.
Because if you hang around with chickens, you'll become the cock of the chickens.
Yeah.
But chickens have an inability to fly. But if you go and hang out with eagles, you begin to see a different perspective of life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing, Kuti. Let's change our association, especially in 2026.
Yeah.
If you are hanging around with those low-level minded people who don't have big dreams, they are okay. To me, if you are comfortable and you're okay, it will cause us to disassociate because I want to be around people who have a bigger, greater vision that pushes me to become better.
Wow, that's really powerful and that's challenging. Join us after the break. I don't even want to dilute what George has said. We'll continue the discussion after this short break. Welcome back. We continue with your thought-provoking discussion with George, and what a way to start 2026. If you're not gaining from this interview, I don't know what will push you. George, the last issue that we were talking about who we hang out with. Oftentimes people are accused kuti because wafunga kuti right, hauchada vanhu vako vekumaraini, hauchada chichi. But kana ndaona kuti hatisi kusumuka, like what you're saying, aiwa ndotozvisudurutsa because hapana chandiri kubhenefita. Chako chauringoda maybe ijoy, handei kuclub, handei kwakati. Yet we are talking about growth, we are talking about changing where we are, becoming uncomfortable with where we are.
Yeah. For me, I always, the word of God, runs the poor, varombo.
Yeah.
Muchagara muinavo. And wakatambo nevanhu varombo, you'll also become like them. So Tari, if I see your 5 people you hang around with, I can tell what type of a person you'll be and where you're going. And to people who are watching today, your association for sure determines where you end up. Hakusku dada, hakusku vaira.
Yes.
But there are certain people in life who can help you to get to where you want to go. I have many friends who I grew up with from Glenora. Pane nyaya dzatogona kutaura.
Yes.
Pane dzimwe dzatsinga kutaura because the conversations are different. So to me, I've always said to people, your association, clearly, if there's one thing you should do in this new year, look at the people around you.
Yeah.
When you say you want to start a business, what do your friends say? Are they the ones who start telling you, say, Ananajo, things are not okay, politically it's not right, your money won't come back? Yeah. But if you look around in the country of Zimbabwe, beautiful country we have, north, south, east, west, there's development.
Yes.
People are opening branches. Why is it for others things are working?
Yeah.
But just for you and that friend of yours who has nothing to their name, all they can do is to criticize. And I always say, people who criticize people with money will never have anything what that they criticize. I would rather say, how did that person get to where they are? I would learn. I would ask who they are associated with. And that's what makes somebody different.
Yeah.
But because you're full of friends who are full of excuses, critics, they have nothing good to say about anything.
Yeah.
They don't see any positive progression in anything. There's no way you can grow, especially in this year. And that's one thing I did when I began. I had friends who told me, "Siyana nazvo zvema-aircon, hazvimbofi zvakabudirira." But then those friends now, when you begin, they mock you, they laugh at you. When I used to give flyers out at the robots, they would say, ndofunga zvinhu zvavo mama kuona George akumira pama-robots. Things must be bad. But those same friends now are celebrating and clapping. We know him. We grew up with him. Takaenda naye kuchikoro. But only because I chose what was hard. I went to hang around with people who changed my mindset. To say, wait, ndakaramba ndine poverty mentality. I'll keep thinking kuti I went to school to graduate to earn $300 for the whole of my life. But to others, they'll say, no. Your salary is a seed that you can begin small to start a business and ultimately grow something when that side hustle begins to pay you more than your job. But many people actually don't see that. And this is why, because of the association and difference in mindset, most people will not grow and change their lives.
And one thing that people often downplay, George, is how a person looks. Here I'm talking about the grooming, the etiquette. When you walk into a room where you're walking in and your presence says something. Maybe unpack that for us as well. As you educate people, we're getting into 2026 and we are saying, let's do things differently.
You've really spoken much about that even on this show. I watch your show a lot, and you're one person who exemplary speaks about dress the way you want to be addressed. And I challenge people out there. It's important. I remember back in the day before, now you see I'm dressed in a very nice suit and I'm looking good. But kudara, I used to go kumbare and get those suits for $5-10, get them dry cleaned, get them adjusted to be slim fit, because your appearance speaks before you open your mouth. So when you want to go and address your business or sell your products, and you yourself are not looking the part, people's minds and perceptions, they judge according to what they see. So it's always good to look the part. It's not about going to buy the expensive clothes. You'll be very much amazed at some of the things which are customized, because so it's not about cost. Because what's a cheap fake? Nobody will know that where did you get that amazing outfit. So people shouldn't think that looking good is about price. It's just about making sure that when you present yourself, especially in this year, people should wonder, what has changed about you? Why are you now wearing these? Because you want a different perception from people who see you. Because wakatongona munhu akachena mindset. You can go to a bank the way I'm dressed, and then my brother who's behind the camera goes in the bank. There will be somebody treated with preference, not because they know our value, but just by presentation. So it's important that we understand when we're doing business, when we want to be seen, you must be able to represent and dress in a manner as though, you're meeting the president every day, so that people will be like, this young lady, this man, they are always dressed sharp. So dress the way you want to be addressed, especially in this year, and I can guarantee you your outlook in life will change.
In 10 seconds, you're parting short for 2026.
This year, I tell people that it's a different year and you have to be a different you. If you did what you did last year, you're going to get the exact same results. But this year, be deliberate. I always say this: success leaves clues. If you do what other successful people have done, which is hard right now, I can guarantee you by this time next year, you'll have a totally different perspective on life.
Indeed, powerful message there coming from George. Let's do things differently in 2026, and success will follow us. Until then, it's goodbye.